Paripai, shall we start?
Sure. Om Shanti and good morning. We're going to look at the Murli from the 31st of March 1986. The title is The Year to Become Full of All Powers and to Attain Blessings. And I think we all understand, I think there is one source of power that is still powerful, full, and always completely full. And in order for us to regain our power, we have to connect to that source of all powers, the Almighty One, and become Master Almighties. So this is the process that we understand at this moment that is available. And when we talk about powers, there are a lot of expansion to powers, but the reality of power is that when the soul is pure, it demonstrates those powers. Those powers appears because the soul is already full of powers and full of virtues. And the reason that these powers are not being displayed is because of some kind of impurity that falls. Some may call it vices, some may call it weaknesses, some may call it Maya, whatever name you might use, but it's all comes to some kind of impurity that has penetrated into the area of the soul, and because of that, it is unable to be itself as it is. And we can also call it falsehood. Whenever there is falsehood, there will be lack of power. But the issue comes because whenever there is weakness, the soul tries to come back to its original state. And sometimes the means to reach that, they are not that useful, because just like when somebody is sick and they take medicine, they do become well or they do get well, but sometimes there is a lot of side effects. So in the same way, the methods that we have adopted since the Copper Age has given us some support, but also has created side effects. And because of these side effects, the soul could not hold that power. And what we are talking about now is to constantly have those powers and practice those powers, and not have any side effects on it. So we'll look at some references, and then at the end we can discuss. So in order to gain that mastery, becoming master and a child, or being master and a child, there are two elements. There is the element of love and there is the element of power. Love and intoxication of being a child is usually available. Most people have this. But to be a master is number wise. And also it is sometimes as well. And both these, Baba suggests to us that it should be constant and it should be equal. So to be a master and a child is to be equal to the father. And what is the father? The father is always powerful and always loving at the same time. Master and a child. I listen and at the same time I suggest, and whatever the result is, I go by that. So this is the first element of being able to attain those full powers and also simultaneously have blessings from everyone. Baba opened up the Murli with this part and then went on to expand that there is a difference between knowledge and what is put into practice. So the typical thing here is that we understand the knowledge very clearly. Knowledge has no difficulty. But the difficulty is that there is a application of that knowledge which is missing. The aim is powerful, but it is now has to be put into thoughts, words, actions, relationships, and connections. Okay. We have good aim, we have good intentions, we have good understanding, but the practice, now the practice has different level, It has to come and be filtered through our thoughts first, and then in our words, and then in what we do, and in relationship and connection. Thoughts, words, and action sometimes are also okay, but when it comes to relationship and connection, there is a little bit of difference. We find it difficult sometimes when we are dealing with relationship and connection. And this is where the final test comes, that I have understood the knowledge, I have applied the knowledge, but and I like the knowledge for myself. But when it comes to dealing with other people, there is a little bit of difference in that practice. And this is the most important part, because that's where you get blessings. And also, we reveal the Father. Yeah. So it is very, very, very important to understand this aspect, because everything that we do, at the end, this is the expression and this is the thing that other people see. Yeah. So such an important point to take a note before we start our journey of transformation. So how do we do it? Make every thought of yours immortal and eternal with the tapasya of determination. Every thought immortal and eternal with the tapasya of determination. Each and every thought that has been thought is an energy. Okay? Thought is nothing but energy. Now, how this energy becomes immortal and eternal? How is it that I create such a thought that it becomes immortal and eternal? When I am able to put in power, the thought is not just a thought. Just like you can consider thoughts as waves. And when there is sufficient power in this wave, that wave continuously can move. and have an impact on not only on myself, on the atmosphere and on others. And this thought picks up more thoughts, and therefore it can continue forever. Okay, so this is a thought that is created through tapasya and determination. That's what fuels that thought. Second part, Baba says, have spiritual conversation with yourself again and again, with a practice of determination to make you have realization. Whenever there is change, before that change, there has to be a realization. Okay? Before any change can happen, there has to be something new that I have realized that I did not know before. That's the only process where I can actually have true transformation. Yeah? And therefore, I need to do check with myself. I need to have a conversation with myself. Yeah? So the soul is talking to the mind and talking to the what is actually being active in this world. The soul by itself is just there. The soul comes into the body, creates the mind, and then there is a conversation. So now many times, when we say to have a conversation, okay, conversation with Baba, it's clear. But how do you talk to yourself? You talk to yourself because there is one that is perfect, pure, and there's another one that is in some kind of falsehood. And so there is clarity and there is unity in the intellect, and the mind becomes one. Yeah. So this creates that realization. And then the third part is to act in your form of reincarnation and make these stages permanent and strong. So to go into the core of the subconscious and restore my truth. Okay? To go back into the core of my subconscious and then restore my reality. This is what it means, that naturally I can be who I am. Okay? So our practices are not targeted into superficial change. The way we work is we work first internally, and then by that, through that yoga, through that connection, through that internal introspection, looking within myself, I create a shift inside. And that shift inside is what demonstrates the power. So we don't work directly in power. In the world, there are people who work directly and develop power, but we don't work like that. We work first internally, and we affect the whole surrounding, and then the expression comes by itself. Okay, this is a very important point to understand, that we always work first from within. Yeah, sometimes we have to do something outside as well, not that we don't, but once we work on the subtle, then the expression by itself becomes okay. Yeah, and it becomes natural also, and it becomes permanent. Next, Baba spoke about accumulating the power of pure thoughts through introversion. When I go within myself in silence, like I just mentioned just before this, that's where the power starts emerging, accumulating power of pure thoughts. Now, recently I have been exploring on power of pure thoughts. It is so powerful and so effective that once you understood, once the realization comes on this point, you will really be careful before you think. You will not do something and then think. you will just be in that presence and understand the impact of our thoughts. There is so much impact on our thoughts, on ourselves, on the surrounding, and on others. There is so much impact that you will really be careful, every time. And if there is anything that you create, immediately you become aware that, oh, this thought is not, forget about negative thought, forget about wasteful thought. Even ordinary thought is not acceptable. We need to have that powerful thought. Yeah. We need to have a thought that is really going to create a difference. And for that, we need a lot of time in introversion. We need a lot of time in silence. Next is a very beautiful and easy one: to have good wishes and pure feeling. You can bring about transformation in others. So one is, we are talking about power, but why do we want power? We want power because we want to create change in ourselves and in others. And this can only happen when we have good wishes and pure feelings. Okay, so one is my thoughts, another one is my feeling. When my thoughts and feeling are one, then energy travels. So energy doesn't travel because I have a good thought. No, it has to have a feeling attached to that thought. Yeah. If you go back in your past, and if you are, somebody asks you to remember some moments, you will not remember the contents of that, but you will remember how you felt. Yeah? How you felt is already remembered because it is stored inside your body. Yeah? And it can, you don't need to work much to get that back because it's already in that feeling. So the first thing sometimes is our feelings. Yeah. So that's why we need this good wishes and pure feeling. Good wishes, pure thoughts. Yeah. Yeah. And then pure feelings also. So all this actually then creates that power. So only those who have the power to accommodate will be able to have good wishes and benevolent feeling. Why is that? Why is it that only those who have power to accommodate will be able to have good wishes and benevolent feeling? Okay, we can start interacting now. Why is it you feel that we need the power to accommodate to be able to have that? Because Baba tells us, no, have good wishes, but without having the power to accommodate, you will not be able to have good wishes. And what's the main reason for that? Anyone?
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Right. I think that in Hindi it is called Samane ki Shakti. When we have this Samane ki Shakti, power to accommodate, then we are at par. We consider the other souls also like at par with either soul, and there is a unity there. Then you tend to have a care, start caring for them, understanding their perspective. Once we understand that originally, eternally, they are also, the children of God, and they have this, the other soul also has is similar divine virtues originally. It's the role which the outside role is there, but that is a transient one. The permanent one, eternal, is the divine virtues. So I think that power to accumulate creates this kind of vision
Mm,
once we have, and then there is automatic flow of pure feelings and good wishes.
mm.
That's like God-like uh, feelings. Om Shanti.
Yes,
I I become like the ocean. I accept everything. I don't see the defects or weakness of that person. I just see goodness in him. And I become, as I'm child of the ocean, I'm so generous hearted. My arms are open and I'm ready to accept him. So when that comes, my mind is clear. My in my mind, my thoughts has no break. So if
So,
such kind of power I have to accept everyone as he is, how he is, as he is also a child of God, then
hmm,
I can pour out good wishes and pure feelings.
Mm. Yeah. So you have explained the content of the power to accommodate, which is acceptance and being able to see something that is not being demonstrated. What usually happen if somebody is difficult for me, if somebody is against me, if somebody is opposing me, then my vision goes to those negativity. If I see those negativity, there is no way there can be good wishes on that person. So this is typically, I say, I have good wishes for everyone. Baba says to have good wishes, but the moment somebody difficult comes in front of you, what you see is only difficulty. Okay, you do not see how much an ocean you are, that you can actually just absorb all these things and help yourself not being pulled to it, and also help the other one to transform. And we have discussed earlier, remember, that um, take two good things about everyone that you are continuously, regularly connecting to, have two good things about them, which is the in the forefront. And there might be, not that we don't see weaknesses. I mean, weaknesses are there, weaknesses in ourselves. Baba also says, no, check your chart. And we are able to see that. But that's not our focus. In order to have the power to accommodate, our focus has to be in the divine side of the I, the soul. I am seeing the soul, and that soul is demonstrating something that is not real reality. But I can take that and I can just put it on the side, just like we have the power to accommodate. The rivers come into the ocean, and the ocean is able to churn everything and that push it on the side. In the same way, to be able to have that good wishes, we need to be able to, we need to have this power to accommodate. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on a little bit more and then we can open up for discussion. So Baba comes back to his mention, because he had mentioned before tapasya. What is tapasya? Baba defines today tapasya to be the practice, means to practice with determination. Whenever there is a practice that is combined with determination, then that is tapasya. Okay? And why do we need this? Is we have to be destroyer of obstacle and embodiment of solution. Okay? Again, here we have to pay attention to the power of accommodation. So we don't look at what is the problem, who caused the problem, why there is a problem. We look into finding a solution to that problem. Okay? So we need to be destroyers of obstacle and embodiment of solution. So we always have this in mind, that we are not trying to fix people. We are not trying to even fix ourselves. What we're trying to do is we are trying to see how we can improve. Yeah. So, you know, then our attention will be towards change. Yeah. Otherwise, I want to be the same, but I want others to change. And that doesn't happen. It doesn't work. Yeah.
Om Shanti. Hari, one more. Can I share one thought
Please,
about power of
please.
accommodation?
Yes, please.
Like accommodation means basically where the shelter is, the house or
Mm,
the abode. And when we go back to Param Dham, the supreme abode, there, you know, that incorporeal world, then every soul is complete in itself and in their natural, state, the eternal state. So that if we can remember that we are all united there, and with the supreme, in connection with the supreme soul, and so that creates a vision, and then we can look at the virtues. It's easy. So power to accommodate, just get the power of accommodation. That accommodation is basically the permanent accommodation
Hmm.
which we have, which we have, which we are in Paramdham, the Mool Vatan.
Hmm. Yeah.
And here we are playing the parts. So that consciousness shift, uh, then it's possible to have good wishes and pure feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just one thought.
Totally agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. So when I am in
Uh,
my original,
Anupbai, can I just, when my
please.
brother was mentioning, what I feel, like I don't know whether it was in a Murli, when there is a need for my I identity, when I look for I have to be there. See, always take the example of us. I'm just giving the example because I make that sambar. When we put so many vegetables in it, potatoes, tomatoes, and all. Now, the potato will say, I give flavor to the sambar. Tomato says, no, I give flavor to this. So when each one it's there, but when everything of that is smashed, 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 and then the sambar becomes not a potato sambar, a tomato sambar, but it's just S for sambar. So everything is absolved. So I think like that is that accommodation. Like when the river so proudly says, I am Brahmaputra, I am this, I have come. But when it goes to the ocean, there is no Brahmaputra, there is no Ganga, there's nothing, it's just the ocean. So I think even when you said tapasya, even yesterday's Murli Baba said, this I only is burning, you need volcanic bhatti. So for that, potato and tomato to all to really get smashed into
Hmm.
one common, this is part of accommodation. Just
Hmm.
go and get lost in that ocean, then you cannot see anything. I always take it to be something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's yeah, very interesting, and obviously the I has to dissolve in order for us to be able to um, be having this power to accommodate and being a destroyer of obstacles. We have to dissolve the ego. The ego has to dissolve, and when the ego dissolves, then automatically I see the I, the true I. Yeah? With the true eyes I can see also. Yeah. So one more, I think, point. um, so we need to be constant bestower and equal to the Father, and this is the point of where the blessing comes. Be constant bestower equal to the Father, and do not have any expectation of receiving. When I'm doing something, do I need anything? If I am doing from the space of neediness, then whatever I'm doing, there is some leakage in that. So I need to constantly be bestower without really having any expectations from anyone. I'm not doing this for that person. I'm not doing this for respect. I'm not doing this for raising my ego, or trying to satisfy myself. I'm doing this because this is what is my truth. This is my nature. Yeah. I don't, become a flower because people should look at me or people should smell me. I become a flower because that's what I am. This is what internally I am able to create, that beauty that emerges from myself. Not because, I want to be put in a bouquet or, smelled by somebody who is passing by. I don't even choose actually. I'm just there. So the same way to create this nature of bestowing. We keep in the line of your intellect. We have to keep for this the line of our intellects very clear to have touching and catching power. Because as the time gets closer, there is a lot of more disturbance in the atmosphere. And if we don't keep our line clear, we might catch something that is not from the truth. Okay. So in order to do that, I always have to check my intellect. Okay. So Baba has gone through so many things. We will just revise in a moment. But this is also very important to keep our line so that we are able to receive that message at the right time. And then in order to increase touching and catching power, you have to be economical and belong to the one, Eknami. Yeah. So why economical? Economical in our time and thoughts, because these are the two resources that everyone has. Economical in time and thoughts, and powers, time and thoughts and powers, and also wealth. Okay, economical in time, thoughts and power are also wealth, and there has to be economy in all of this. So it's not only what we spend, but as I mentioned at the beginning, if we understand the power of pure thoughts, then we will be very, very careful when to create a particular thought. So Baba is talking about this. And then how do I spend my time? Because I can create very good thoughts. But if I spend my time wasting those, then there will not be any accumulation. Yeah. So the two wealth that everyone has is the wealth of time and thoughts. And we need to know how to use them. Okay. So this is the final, and of course, if there is anyone else that comes into my intellect, gets pulled into my intellect, then that signal will create disturbance for me to be able to practice this touching and catching powers. Okay. So quickly, if we recap what we have spoken about, is that we are master and a child, and the master part is needed to be developed, and then whatever we studying, we have to put it into practice. Okay. And then Baba spoke about the thoughts. Okay, we need to have powerful thought using tapasya and determination. Okay, and then we need to talk to ourselves, and we need to practice. Yeah, accumulating the power of pure thoughts, good wishes, and pure feelings. Of course, tapasya, and then destroyer of obstacles and embodiments of solution. And then Baba said about to become constantly restored and equal. Yeah? There is no expectations that we need to keep. Yeah? And then finally, Baba spoke about keeping our line clean and clear. Okay? And this will happen only if we are using the two words economy and eknam. So this is like a summary of what we have gone through. Let's have 1 minute of silence and then we can discuss. Shanti. Okay, so what is it?
I just have 2 points, if you can clear that. Like today, when you read the Murli, I'm looking at a new perspective. One is this economy. See, Baba said economical means your power of accumulation increases. Fine. But who gave me these time, thoughts, treasures? It was Baba. So why he says sometimes be generous hearted in donating all treasures and all. And now he's saying, hello, take care of your powers and all, because now only you can be economical. If you during distraction time you cannot be economical. So that one thing, taking the time aspect, I just wanted to know what is this paradox thing which Baba is saying now, be very, very economical. One. Secondly, that what is that the ocean has a power, all dirt goes to it, everything goes to it, and still it is the same. See, remember there was a project called as Ganga, cleaning up the Ganga, because in the Ganga everything was thrown. So there was a really a big project to clean up the Ganga. So I also was thinking, I, the child of the ocean, what is the project I should take into me to see I don't become Miley like Ganga? Because otherwise the ocean becomes garbage. Everyone just comes and throws what they want, and I become one shoulder for everyone to cry. So these two aspects, if you can throw some light. Om Shanti.
Yeah. So first is generosity. We don't have to be economical in our generosity. We become like an ocean, because the ocean is not afraid. How much water you need, you can take. So from that aspect, Baba says that you are full, you are with me, and don't try to be you. You connect with me, and because I am the ocean, you give everyone through what I have. The treasures that I have given you is unlimited. Okay. The economy that Baba is talking about here is how you are using, where you are using, for whom are you using, when are you using. So we need to check that, the thought, the place, the time, and the circumstances. And according to that, if I use it correctly, that means I'm being economical. So here, economical means that the most effective way of the use of the resources that I have. Yeah. So in that sense, Baba says economy, and it's not about moderation. Basically, whatever our needs are in moderation. But when it comes to giving, it has to be like that. And second reason is that the ocean doesn't clean the rubbish. The physical ocean, the physical Ganga, receive all the rubbish, and people have to clean that. Whereas the ocean, because of its purity, it can absorb anything and it can transform anything. So these things that are coming in as impure, they actually then become pure. So there is no limit to it. Whereas in physical reality, there is a limit whereby when the rubbish comes, it pollutes the place, and then people have to come and remove that rubbish, because that rubbish doesn't transform, it stays as rubbish. Whereas in the power to accommodate, the rubbish becomes, energy is energy. There's no good or bad. The only thing is we can convert it into something that is useful. So whatever gets wasted in any kind of system, energy system, by increasing efficiency, we can transform that energy. Yeah. Any other question, comments, thoughts, ideas?
Coming back to what you mentioned, Arif bhai, cleaning of physical Ganga is being done physically by human beings, while cleaning up from within is something which one needs to connect with the higher energy and do it themselves. So, can you just throw some more, you know, uh, kind of a deeper sense on what you meant when you said that?
Yeah. So the
A
inner
little.
self, the soul, is equal to the Father. That is our actual reality. But when we come, our power gets depleted as we act in the drum. Through fire, we are able to remove all the dirt and come back to our complete potential, which is Master Almighty Authority. Okay? So when we become that, okay, then there is no question of anything that can come externally, and even if it comes, it just gets burnt, and becomes the fuel. So it increases the fire, you know. You see what I
So,
mean?
yeah, yeah, I
So
get it.
you
Yeah.
just you
Yeah.
when you put, you're not reducing, because the fire is so much, it just burns it. It just burns everything, and burn looks negative, but here it means that it uses it in its to transform that one, and also to increase the power from within.
Correct, get that. So when we speak about burn as negative, what I was getting was, see,
That
one
is
burn is negative, but the other burn is only because you generate that heat, is where you're able to cook the food.
yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Big,
You burn the this one, but then you get nourishment, no?
correct.
So you
And
get more.
when you, and if you look at other analogy, is when you burn the bonfire, is when you actually warm up yourself and
Yeah, exactly.
also experience uh, typically the areas which has a lot of uh, the temperature is negative. I'm sure for them
Mm.
bonfire is going to be one of the blessings that they
Useful. Yeah.
look at it. So yeah, that is what I was getting when you said burn sounds to be negative, but then
Mm.
it's how we look at what's our perception to look at it.
Yeah, yeah. And the temperature needs to be that extent. And this temperature goes into that extent when we are in the seed stage. Whenever Baba says no,
Yeah.
there is all the playing around, chit-chatting, loving, but the actual transformation happens only in seed stage.
Yeah.
Anything more? Anyone else? Today everyone is quiet. It's getting cooler in India, I think, a little bit now.
Yes.
November.
Arif Bhai, in short, you're saying like father, equal to father.
Equal, yeah.
Just like father. I think if my father, the ocean, as I don't know, every religion they say the father can never see any, like a mother can never see the defects of a child, even though the child may be blind or the child may be this. For like there's a saying in Tamil, Kakekku tan kunju pun kunju. For the crow, its child is the golden bird.
Hmm.
So, like that, when my father is there, so I think all this process of, as Raki Ben was sharing, burning to heat, burning to kill, all that process is just to become like the father, because 63 births, I have all these other foreign material in me.
Yeah.
So, and now it's time for me to become like Father, because at the end he wants it. Because he cannot reach out to everyone, because he is incorporeal, because he cannot find Brahmas to enter. So he creates all our BKs and all. So I think one shot is equal to Father, like Father. But I think that's too big a mountain which Baba is really putting it in front of us. It's a very big mountain to be like the Father, Shiv Baba.
You
Sometimes I
can,
think of peaks of
you can
Brahma.
change.
You
You
know
can
it.
change that. You can change that, and Baba shows us how to change that. Baba says that When you came, how were you? You were like me only, no? When you came, when the soul came, you were like Baba only. You're not really bringing something new. You're just going back to what you were. If you think like this, then the process is already happened. It's not going to happen. It's already happened. Okay. Only thing you need to remove all these filters. All useless stuff has to go, and that's where the challenge comes. Then that's why the economy also is there. No, there's economy, but economy also. Yeah, both together.
But I want my father to be my father. I don't
The
want just to go and sit next to him. I
the
want to be a dot, but he is my father. That
of course.
equalness, I don't know,
See, the
sometimes.
father, when he lifts up the child, and the child, when the father, physical father, has some business and does something, and then hands over the child, and the child takes over, and then the child becomes able to handle everything, even though there is a sense somewhere behind the mind that actually this is from my father. That doesn't go away. So you become equal. The child may be even better, but still the father is still the father, no? So that will never go away. Next kalpa again, he'll do the same thing. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, what about Lata Ben, Ami Ben, Pramila? Anyone else would like to share? Ami Ben, we only hear you at the end. We need to hear you in between also. Lata Ben, anything? Anything you liked or cannot speak at this time because it's too early? Okay, good. Let's have then one moment of silence and then we finish. Just coming back. I, the soul, I'm never separate with the Father, the Supreme Soul. He was, He is, and will always be with me, together. He is the Almighty, I am the Master, Almighty Authority, All Powerful One. Every thought that I create becomes eternal. Every word that I speak penetrates the heart. And every action that I do becomes a memorial. I continue to receive blessings from those that I touch. And these blessings are the ones that becomes the seed of enthusiasm, determination, and more purification, to the point that I become equal to the Father. whenever there is any obstacle, I use the power to accommodate. When there are challenging situations, I keep the intellect clean and clear. Always in tune with the One. So no matter what comes in front, there is clarity. Om Shanti. Over to you.
Om Shanti. Thank you to Papa. Thank you, Arif Bhai. Thank you, Divine Family. See you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Until then, have a lovely day.
Om Shanti.